Okay, welcome back everyone to the deep dive. Just to recap where we are, we've climbed the mountain. We're standing right there at the gates of the earthly paradise in Purgatorio.
That's right. We saw that incredible divine procession, this really complex pageant unfolding. And now, well, we're poised for something huge.
Absolutely. This is episode 64, and today we're diving straight into Canto 30. And this one it's massive because this is it. This is where Dante finally meets Beatrice again.
A moment the entire journey has been building towards, really.
Exactly. And our goal, as always, is to unpack this, see what's happening, but also figure out, what can we actually take from this for our own lives, our own journeys?
Well, the scene itself is just electric. The procession, all that movement, it just stops. And the air fills with angels singing, Veni, sponsa de Libano.
Come bride from Lebanon.
From the Song of Songs, it signals this incredibly sacred arrival, and then through this cloud of flowers the angels are throwing, she appears. Beatrice. White, red, and green, which immediately signals, faith, charity, and hope. Powerful symbolism right off the bat.
And Dante's reaction. It's so human, isn't it? He feels this overwhelming presence, and his first instinct is to turn, to find Virgil, his guide.
His constant companion through hell and most of purgatory. He looks for that reassurance, that familiar support.
Virgil's just gone.
And that absence is packed with meaning. Virgil, representing human reason, classical wisdom, he's brought Dante as far as he possibly could.
Right. We talked about that limit before.
Exactly. Reason is powerful, essential, but it can't cross this final threshold into divine understanding, into grace. Virgil's disappearance isn't a failure, it's the necessary handover. A different kind of guidance is needed now.
That loss, though, even if it's necessary, it must feel like the ground shifts beneath your feet. Like being lost all over again.
There's an echo of the dark woods, certainly. That sense of being without a guide. But this is different, isn't it? Back then, he was lost and confused, didn't fully grasp why. Now the confusion is conscious. He's being forced to confront why he needed this journey, the ways he strayed. And Beatrice, well, she doesn't exactly offer a comforting shoulder.
No kidding. She comes out swinging, verbally at least, a really harsh rebuke.
Incredibly severe. And then there's that stunning detail she calls him by name. Dante. It's the only time his name is actually spoken in the entire Divine Comedy.
To name him right at this moment of judgment, almost?
It nails him, doesn't it? It forces him to stand there fully himself, Dante Alighieri the individual, and face his own history, his own choices. No hiding.
Even the angels seem taken aback. They try to intercede for him.
They do, singing words of Psalm 30, but Beatrice isn't letting up. She details how she tried guiding him even after her death, through dreams, inspirations.
But he didn't listen.
He turned away, she says, chasing lesser false goods. She had to calm herself, show him the consequences, pull him back from the brink. It's intense.
Okay, so moving from this incredibly dramatic, almost overwhelming scene in the Purgatorio, how do we translate this into lessons for us here and now?
Well, the first big one, I think, is about confronting truth. Really confronting it. Beatrice forces Dante to look at his errors, his unfaithfulness, without flinching.
And we need that too, that kind of brutal honesty with ourselves.
Absolutely. It's maybe one of the hardest things to do, right? To really admit when we've gone off course, when we haven't lived up to our own ideals or potential. But without that honest look, how can we actually change or grow?
That facing the truth often seems to happen right after something falls apart, like Dante losing Virgil. Is there a lesson there in the crisis itself?
Definitely. I think that's the second lesson, the value of these transitional crises. Losing Virgil is painful, a huge loss for Dante, but it's necessary.
Because he couldn't go further with him.
Precisely. Sometimes, we outgrow our guides or our old ways of thinking, even things we deeply cherish. To reach a new level, maybe a higher maturity or a different kind of understanding, we have to let go. That crisis forces the transition.
Okay, but Beatrice's approach, it still feels so harsh. Is that really love?
That's a great question, and maybe the third lesson. Love as a transformative force, and sometimes that force is, tough.
Tough love, basically.
Sort of, but maybe deeper. Her severity comes from profound love and profound disappointment. She sees his potential, what he was meant to be, and she's calling him back to it fiercely. It suggests that people who genuinely care about us, sometimes they have the duty to tell us hard truths, not to hurt us, but because they refuse to let us settle for less than we can be.
And her specific accusation that he forgot her.
Yes, and that points to a fourth lesson, I think. The importance of memory and fidelity. Staying true. True to the values, the people, the moments of insight that shaped you for the better. Beatrice is accusing him of forgetting the higher path she represented. It's a call to remember what truly matters and to stay loyal to those foundations, even when, maybe especially when, the person or the initial inspiration isn't physically there anymore.
Wow. Okay, so Canto 30 is just packed. You have this divine arrival, the pain of losing a guide, this incredibly intense confrontation, and then these lessons just radiating out. Facing truth, embracing necessary crises, understanding love's sometimes difficult demands, and holding on to what truly shaped you.
It's a turning point in every sense, and it leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If Virgil represents the peak of human reason and he had to step aside, maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over is this.
Go on.
What might you need to move beyond in your own life? What aspect of your understanding, maybe even your reliance on pure logic or your current guides, might be limiting your next step towards a different kind of growth or truth? What does that beyond reason step look like for you?
That's definitely something to chew on. A powerful place to pause as we continue our own journeys. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into Purgatorio Canto 30.
Always a pleasure. We hope you join us next time as we continue the exploration.